Welcome to Little London, the city of Londrina in southern Brazil. A city that was the epicenter of the coffee boom in Brazil in the 20th century. Now, if you're new to my channel, I have been in the state of Paraná, which I'm in right now for the last couple of weeks, visiting a few of the cities. So I thought I'd give a quick recap of a little bit of the history of what happened in Paraná state. So in the 1920s, this whole area was forest. It was the Atlantic forest, covering around 1.5 million square kilometers. And then they discovered that the red soil in this place was perfect for growing coffee. So planned cities took over from the trees, and it was a British company that financed the whole lot. And because they were British, they wanted a bit of London in the state, and so Londrina was born. So I'm just going to have a little wander around, show you the bits of places that are really interesting in this city, like the cathedral, where I should be walking back around to show you the front. But what gets me is when people first got here in the 1920s, 30s, and they looked at the soil and they went, that's perfect for growing coffee. How did they know? Because coffee takes a while to grow. But why did Londrina get so big so quick? One word: transport. They were the first city in the area to get railway going to it to help move the coffee around. And in 1935 they had the first airport. So the city of Londrina itself, and I'm going to go around to the front of the cathedral just to show you. But the city itself was founded officially on the 10th of December 1934, which doesn't really help the people that were here because it was 2 weeks before Christmas. Where would they have done their Christmas shopping? Because these lot weren't here. But with the airport being built a year later, that might have helped it, especially if they had a duty-free shop. Right, I'm in front of the cathedral, and it's the Sacred Heart of Jesus Cathedral. And like most of the religious buildings around here in this state, they're all pretty modern. And this one itself was inaugurated on December the 17th, 1972. Everything happens in December around here. In fact, let's have a wander in, see how modern it is. Right, off with my hat. Wow. It's pretty big. So this is the city centre, and Londrina doesn't really get much tourism, but there is bits and pieces around here that shows you they're trying to take it a little bit serious. Now when you click on that QR code, it takes you to Instagram and gives you a little bit of history of the various places around here through an Instagram post. But there's no map to show you where you can go, where you should go. So this is the city centre. There's a lot of shops. It's a very cosmopolitan place. So many people. When I got here yesterday in the afternoon, it's a bit more quieter today as it's lunchtime. And everywhere you go, well, not everywhere, but there is telephone boxes, just like in London. You can just see one there in the background. That's the third one I've seen in the city. And this is the square right in front of the cathedral. Now, just like the real London back in England, there are grey skies up there, and it's just making me feel a little bit like being at home. But in the background there is blue skies trying to get through, and the weather forecast from what I looked at this morning was meant to be blue skies all day, so I'm hoping it just turns out really nice. So I have become a bit of a coffee nerd while investigating this place. And did you know there are over 120 different types of coffee plants, but there's only 2 that they grow to make your morning coffee. And the one that was growing around here was Arabica, and it just overtook the whole state. And this would have been like the perfect coffee connoisseur heaven. And in 1971 they opened the first university here. And if you think that was only 40 years after the city first started, but it turned Londrina into a major educational and scientific hub for the region. It's a nice little statue right in front of the cathedral there. But then on the 18th of July 1975, a date that Brazil will never forget, the black frost came over and the weather destroyed the majority of the coffee plants in the region. Mother Nature can be so cruel. So without the coffee plants, they used the brains of the university to work out which way they should divert to. And it was agriculture, it was soybeans, wheat, and it became a second chance for the city to grow bigger. Agriculture. So as I said, railway came to Londrina first in the state, and this is the old railway station, which is now the Museum of Londrina. But unfortunately it's closed, and I've just asked very nicely with the guy that's following me if I can just take some outside shots. I mean, it's very posh. It's nothing like a railway station you get back in the UK. And there's a telephone box. Wow. Why is it closed? Is it because it's out of season? I've just asked very nicely if I can have a walk around the front. Oh wow. Now I don't know if you've got to pay to get into the museum, but I'm not. He's allowing me to walk around. I did say to him I'll be 2 minutes. Look at that. Right, I think I don't want to upset him too much. So I had a little old lady come out asking me what I was doing, and I explained that I was videoing. She introduced me to one of her colleagues, a young guy called Vita, who spoke English so well, who told me that he goes to conferences in Germany and in England, and he's just taken me around the whole place and explained everything. So the reason it's closed at the moment is because it's going through refurbishment. It's opening again on the 10th of June. There's a lot of electrical stuff being done, so I can't go in. But he was really interested, and yeah, really cool place. So I did ask him, like, why is there no railway in Brazil? So this place closed down in the 1980s, the government put more pressure on trucks because petrol is cheaper, but nowadays it's not. But yeah, that's the railway station. So it's been about an hour since I left the Londrina museum, all the way down there with all the railway stuff, and that is because I've moved hotels. So I've moved from the £23 a night hotel that is about 6 streets away that way to a £14 a night hotel that way, and it is one of the cheapest hotels in Londrina in the centre that does a free breakfast, although the reviews do say it's very basic. So in Londrina Museum they did point the way to this place up here, which is an art museum, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because this used to be the old bus station and it's been converted into art. So I don't know if I can get in or not. He did also mention that there is a coffee museum about 6 streets away down that way, but has coffee got much of a history? Oh, that's cool. Museum d'Art de Londrina. So they've let me in, even though there is further on down there about 30 kids. You can hear them. So it's very noisy. So this is art. It's only 2 floors, very basic. But it's good to see that they've actually turned it from something to, oh, look at them. A lot of applause. Oh, and this is it. I don't know how old this place is. And that looks like the skin of a jaguar. See, I'm going to look around down here. I mean, downstairs is a library, seemingly. And then, all right, down here. So it's all art books around here then. All art. Art. Yeah. Oh, cool. So I'm outside the art museum, and this is where the buses were. Now I just met a woman who's just come in through them doors down there, who's just told me about her son, who's currently in London for 3 months because he wanted to see what big London was like. So just had a chat about her son, her life here, and even she was going, little London, Londrina is an amazing place. It's growing on me big time. So I've just come further down and I'm in the Japanese park. So you've got the Torii Gate just there, welcoming people into the park. And then you've got the big massive structure just there. Now behind here there is a plaque where you can see that guy there, celebrating 100 years of Japanese immigration to this country from 1908. And you get a lot of Japanese influence in a lot of the southern Brazilian cities. Quite cool. So I'm now going to head back to the hotel room, show you what £14 a night gets you. And I think for the next video, further on down that way is the lakes and the parks of the city, which will give you a beautiful contrast between city life and nature. And tomorrow, very exciting, tomorrow morning, I'm going to the dentist. If you have been following me, you'll know, broken tooth, very sore, needs to be taken out, or just x-rayed and done stuff to it. So that's the hotel just there. Apartamentos. Down across the road is a cafe and a shop. Perfect. There is no lift. It's 2 floors up. And this is it. A small little wardrobe. Some fresh air through the window. Sink. And the reason it is so cheap is because of the fact it's a shared bathroom with everybody else on this floor. Didn't bother me at all. I'm used to hostels. So if you've enjoyed this little video of Londrina, then all you gotta do is press that like button. If you want to check out the park, which is the next video, then subscribe and then watch it. But until then, I might put the fan on because the sun's out and it's got hot. Until next time, bye bye for now.